Today I'm going to show you how to make and upgrade buildings in your MineColonies town so that you can go from making buildings like this to making buildings like this. And if you want to see more MineColonies videos, then please do subscribe. In order to start building, you'll first have to actually start a colony, and I showed you guys how to do that in the last episode. The link for that is in the video description, so I highly recommend you watch that first if you haven't already. Incidentally, all this is being filmed on my server, which you guys can join. The link for that is in the description if you're interested. The first building you'll actually build in the game is actually going to be this one here, which is the builder's hut. And then once that's built and you have a builder assigned, you can build all of your other buildings. So let's go into our storage and see if we're able to make up one of these. We are, that's great. And now we can go ahead and place that down somewhere in our town. Now the town hall will be the center of your town, because as the borders expand outwards, they expand out from the town center. So what we want to do is place the builder's hut somewhere nearby, because having it in a central location makes things a bit more efficient. So once you have a bit of a location earmarked, you can go ahead and right click the build tool again. And once again, we need to go to the fundamentals section, as that's where the builder's hut is. Then we choose a pack and a style just as before, and I always like to put it to level 5. And once again, we can press escape to get out of this and see how it's going to look. So we have this style right here, and obviously this is not placed correctly at the moment, but this is the level 5 of one of the medieval dark oak styles. And this is another alternative here as well. But it is important to say that just because our town hall is a medieval dark oak build, it doesn't mean every build has to be. You can of course choose any pack for any type of build that it has available in the game, so you can get creative and do things however you like. Now when placing down this building, you'll be able to see a few different things. So we have, for example, these white lines here, and this is actually showing our current border from our town center, so basically the current border of our town. Also, if you're near to another colony, you'll see these red lines right here, and these are the borders of another colony. So obviously we won't be able to expand out past these red borders, because that would be in someone else's colony, which in this case is Splash. So all things considered, I think up here is going to be a nice location, because it's pretty flat and it's near the center of the town, and it's not heading too close to Splash. So I'm then just going to right click and go to the fundamentals, select the builder's hut, alternative 1 level 5, and see if we can get it in a good spot. So I actually quite like this location right here, where we've got this kind of open courtyard thing. It's been ruined a bit by this tree. In fact, let me take that down. So with that tree removed, you can see a little bit better how this is going to look, and it'll be nice and close to the town hall. It also has this big courtyard area, and the sort of nice looking crane bit and all that is facing where the rest of the town will be and where we'll be spending most of our time. And from the back here, it still looks pretty cool, and there will be some buildings and things going on here, as this is still within our town borders, but I think having the crane facing that way is going to look cool. So once we're happy with where that is situated, we can go ahead and press the green tick once again to put down the outline of that. Now if we right click on the builder's hut, we'll see that right here we have a builder that's been automatically assigned, and this is something that I personally like to change. So if you go into your town hall block right here, you can click on settings and change a few different things. So I like the worker hiring mode to be set to manual, so we can left click to change that. I also like the housing assignment to be manual, because that gives us control on who's living with who and whether or not we want kids and that sort of thing. And as a bit of a failsafe, we can also put kids will be born to off for now, so that we have control over that. Once we get into building the tavern later on, you understand why that is, but we can get citizens with much better stats by doing it this way. So if we go back to the builder's hut now, we can go to the manage workers section, and this shows us the stats of all the different villages that we have available to us, and the ones that are shown in the green and the yellow are the ones that are best for this job, so the advantageous stats that a citizen should have to be a builder. And at this stage you can change this around if you want. So the green is sort of the best, and also the yellow is like the second best. So what you want to do really is add up those two stats and choose whoever has the best. And in this case, Noah is the best, so we're going to leave him as that, but you may want to change things around, and also this will help you, because if you're on manual employment mode for the rest of the game, then for all future buildings we'll have to go through this. At this stage, it's a really good idea to make yourself one of these. This is called a resource scroll, and as you can see, it's rather simple to make. With this in hand, you can then go up to the builder's hut and shift right click in order to tie the scroll to this builder's hut. At this stage, you want to go into the builder's hut and go to build options and select Noah Cobb to build this building. So he's now going to build this at level 1 basically, and we can hit build building to get that started. It'll need the builder to come over here in order for this to start, but you can right click and hit recall worker to speed this up if you wish. You get a message in chat then once he started building it, and when that message comes up and you right click your resource scroll, you'll see all the different items that he will need in order to build this at level 1. So at this stage, you can go and collect all these items together, which I'm going to do now, and then I'll show you how you give these to your builder. So as you start filling up your inventory, you can use the resource scroll and seeing what you have, which is shown in green. So for example, if I open my inventory right now, these items right here will be items that are shown in green because I have enough of them. You can also see things you partially have. So Corsta, he needs 44. And if I open up my inventory, you'll see here we have 32, so we're 12 short. And that's what it's telling us here with a negative 12. That's how many we need. And then some things will be shown in red, such as these framed dark oak planks. They're shown in red because we don't have any of them. Incidentally, to get the framed dark oak planks and certain other items within the game, you will need to make an architect's cutter. And this is the recipe for it, which you can see is relatively simple. So if I open up my architect's cutter and put in a material, then it gives me options to make certain things. Sometimes you need to put the same material into multiple slots in order to get new materials. So for example, dark oak planks, if we only have this side filled, build, we have these options here. However, if we add dark oak planks into the second spot here, we get many more things, including the different frame dark oak planks that we're going to need. You'll also see if I hover over these, then we get the framing options. So it says here, type there is plain, with the material being dark oak planks and the center also being the material of dark oak planks. So back inside the cutter, if we hover over one of these frame dark oak planks, you'll see that this is different. This is not plain, this type is double cross. So we have to find the exact same one. And we can see right here we have these. So we can left click to select that, then come over here and shift click to turn all the resources there into these frame dark oak planks that we need over here. So once your resource scroll is showing absolutely everything in green, all that's left to do is go and give these materials to your builder. Now you have a few different options for this. If you shift and right click, then you can go straight into your builder's inventory and start giving him some resources that way. So if we put these 4 torches in his inventory that he needs, if we then right click on our resource scroll and scroll down to where the torches are, you can see he has 4 out of the 2 required torches that he needs to do this building. You can also right click on the builder's hut and go down here into the required resources section, and it will show you all the ones that he has and all the ones that he needs, and if they're in green, it means you have them on you. At this stage, you can actually left click and it will just upload those resources to the builder's hut so that he can get access to them. Finally, you can shift and right click on the builder's hut and place things up here yourself if you want. Now you see here I've got 64 coarse dirt, but he only needs like 44 of them. So if I was to do this manually, it takes a bit of time, it's a bit of a faff, especially once you get onto some bigger builds with lots of resources. But if we right click the builder's hut and go to the required resources section, we can just spam left click all this and it will only take what it needs out of our inventory. You can then see that everything that's needed is going to be in there, and if we open our inventory, we're left with all the bits and bobs that he doesn't need. So personally, this is the way I prefer to do it, because that way he gets only what he needs in order to do the job, and he doesn't have a load of extra resources clogging up his inventory for the next job. This can be especially important later on in the game as they do start to fill up their inventories, and sometimes you have to really keep an eye on that. Now you see he has this sort of notification above his head here, so still something is wrong, and if we right click on him, then he'll tell you what that is. So basically he's going to need tools in order to continue doing his job. So he wants shears right now because he wants to get rid of all of this grass that's in the way of building where he needs to build. If you want to go through the request, you can click I will work on it, and then it will let you know if he has any others, which at this stage he doesn't. Longer term, it can be a good idea to make up the MineColonies clipboard, which the recipe is right here on screen. Once that has been made, you can go to your town hall block and shift right click in order to tie the clipboard to the colony. Then when we right click, it will show us what the requests are for the entire village. So as our town starts to grow, we can see all the requests in one easy go. It's also a good idea to give your builder some food, as a hungry worker will not do any work. Now what I'm actually going to do is use my vein mine here and clear all of this grass myself, because it's just going to be a lot quicker and easier than giving him shears and waiting for him to do it. So sometimes you can get involved with the building process and the clearing of land and stuff like that, just to speed things up for your builder if you wish. Seems currently he has another request though, and looks like he wants a shovel because he's going to need to dig out some of the area around here. Now with a request like this, you can hit more details please, and it will tell you the type of shovel that you can give them. So as your builders level up, they'll be able to use more advanced tools, and this is the same for all colonists that require tools in order to do their jobs. But right now it has to be a wood or a golden shovel. So let's go ahead and give him a wooden shovel, and then he can get on with doing the rest of this work. And there we go. He's now currently digging off the blocks that he doesn't need that are basically in his way for doing the build. So of course, as long as he is loaded in and you're close enough that these chunks are loaded, he will carry on with doing this building, and you can go and get on with some other things in your colony. So that's what we're going to do right now, and then I'll check back on this guy once he's done the build and show you how it looks. So our builder is just now finishing up the builder's hut, and when it's done, you should get some fireworks, and a message will also appear in chat. And there we go. There's the fireworks right there, and the message in chat and stuff, and the builder's hut level 1 is now complete. So obviously at level 1, these buildings are a lot simpler than they're going to be at level 5, and you just have some basic decorational things going on. But the main thing is that it's functional, and we do now have a builder's hut complete, which will enable us to build lots of other things within our town. So once you have your builder's hut complete, you can then start building other buildings. And if you want to see a list of all the things you can build in MineColonies, you can go to JEI right here and go at MineColonies, if I can spell that correctly, and it will give you a list of all MineColonies items. Then you can see over here there's all these different things from like, the courier's hut and mines and forester's hut and so on and so forth, or you can explore the wiki for MineColonies if you want to do it that way. So as you can see, I've got the tavern recipe saved here, so I'm going to go ahead and make one of those up, and that'll be the next building that we make in the game. So once you have a good location to build, in this case the tavern, you want to hold your build tool and right click on the floor, and then find it in these options you see here. So the tavern is part of the fundamentals. We can go ahead and left click right there to select the tavern, and again I like to see how it's going to look at the top tier level, which in this case is level 3. You can of course have a look at all different packs. You don't have to build out the same pack each time, so you can just have a play around and see which ones you most like the look of. Personally, I do quite like the medieval dark oak one, and it will be in keeping with the rest of the village's aesthetic, so that's the one that I'm going to go ahead and go for. So again, we're going to use the GUI we have right here in order to position this somewhere where it's going to be a good fit. Now once we're happy with that, we can go ahead and hit the tick button down here. You'll then have something that looks like this, and at this stage what you need to do is go up to the area here of the tavern, right click that, go to build options, then select your builder. So you can have multiple builders, we just just have the one right now, so we just select Noah and hit build building. You can see in chat that the build request has been created for this build, and after a while you'll get a message from Noah to say that he started work on the tavern. At this stage, you can right click your resource scroll once again to see all of the materials that he's going to need in order to build the tavern. You can also use your clipboard to see if there's any open requests. So for example, if you needed like a pickaxe or a shovel or something, then that would be listed on there. And we now go through the same process as before, where we need to go over to the builder's hut and give him all of the materials that he requests through the resource scroll. And once he has them all, then he will complete the build over time. So that's how we build new buildings. But you might also be wondering how you upgrade a building from level 1 up to level 2, for example. Well, in order to do that, the first thing you have to do is upgrade your builder's hut, because you can only build buildings to the same level as your builder's hut. So if your builder's hut is level 3, you will not be able to build any level 4 buildings. You have to upgrade it to level 4 first before you can do that. So to upgrade your builder's hut or any other building, what you do is go to that building's workstation block. So the builder's hut here from MineColonies is this block here, as you see. You can then right click on the builder's hut, go to build options and set the builder of Noah Cobb and hit upgrade. Once again, the build request will be created. However, it's a good idea not to have multiple build options per one builder going on at the same time. So Noah is currently working on our tavern, so it's best to let him finish that first and then do the upgrade, or vice versa. The game just works a lot better and is a lot easier if you just have one builder doing one build project at any given time. And that's why you may want to build multiple builders huts and employ multiple builders in your town. And then you just repeat this process until your builders huts are level 5, and then they can build any other building in the town up to level 5 as long as you provide them with the resources.